Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. All right, so it's time for a therapy session. My mouth is dry, but yeah, I just wanted to come to you guys and just give you a rundown of what it is that's going on now, because I said I hadn't wanted to talk about myself lately. Got the Lakers popping off with so much going on in the Western Conference Finals and all these different things. You just get to a point where you don't want to necessarily address your problems in your life, especially when you're dealing with eviction and various different things that are as a result of you not being in a good place financially. Excuse me. Sorry about that, everybody. We're really authentic on this channel, right? So what I'm dealing with right now is the refiling of the case. I got the paperwork in here, and essentially what they said was that they are asking the courts to refile the case that was dismissed because there was an error on their part, or I don't know if it was on their part or not, but some type of error in regards to the time and the date they were supposed to arrive on court. Because of course I told you they didn't arrive, which is why I was dismissed. And the judge told me there was a great chance that they would refile, of course, because obviously they still want their money. So expect for the refiling, and it came. So I don't really understand what exactly the paperwork's telling me. It's a bit more complicated this go round than it was last time, and I think this is preliminary paperwork, essentially telling me that they have asked the court to redo this, and then from there, I think what it's telling me is that I can expect for more paperwork in regards to telling me what's what. But it also has a date on here for 6/21/23, Department 1, and so I don't know what that means, but 1:30 p.m. It doesn't say I have to necessarily be somewhere. It just says that they are proposing some type of motion, a bunch of motion. Nothing good. So my emotions are pretty solid though, nevertheless. Called my uncle up. He gave me some understanding of what it is that he thinks I should do in regards to reaching out to some people, trying to get some things done and stuff like that. So that was really helpful. And plus, it feels good to be back incorporated, talking to my family in regards to these Bible studies that we're having on Sundays. So I've been telling them that I really appreciate being a part of that, and that's ultimately giving me a lot of strength throughout the start of the week. Of course, you know, it's only been a couple weeks since I've been doing this, and last week was Mother's Day, so we didn't have it on Mother's Day, but you know, just to kind of be back in touch with my family just in general on that side of the country is really important to me. And I'm gonna word this, I didn't realize how much I needed the Bible studies that they have on Sundays, because it really does provide a great deal of energy to me and love into my life in a way that I've needed and didn't know it. So yeah, man, it was good to talk to my uncle. You know, a lot of times you get to a point when you're in a situation like this where, you know, your neediness will tell you that you want to hear certain things, and the immaturity inside of you will tell you that you didn't hear what you wanted to hear. But the reality is God has been so very intricate in every piece of this, including them not showing up to that court, to now my faith is so strong. So I'm just like, all right, well, what does the Lord want me to do? I listened to my uncle very carefully. I expressed to him my concerns and displayed the weakness in regards to my mental health and what I needed. And he reiterated to me the truth, which is that this state has people who have mental illnesses walking the street left and right. So nothing's fair out here in regards to us, and we're not going to get what we need, and I'm not going to get what I need. And that's what I needed to hear. In regards to, do I have any rights to this refiling? I asked my uncle, you know, is there anything I can do? Obviously, I identified somebody who has mental health concerns. This is putting me through a lot of stress. Do I have any rights? And he essentially said he didn't believe so. Not in this state, nah. He told me the hardcore stuff that I didn't want to hear, but the hardcore stuff that I also received just the same, because that's what's lacking. That's what's lacking in my situation. If somebody would have gave me some reality, like, yo, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. Leading up to this, I probably wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. So I'm not looking to be babied or pulled out of this situation necessarily. I think I went into it hoping for some coddling, like I normally have been as a young person. But at the end of it, I walked away feeling like I was given what I needed. And I'm smart enough of a man to know that you got to take what's given, and know that tough love is a good seed to pull you out of circumstances. Even as a person with mental health concerns, you got to take the steps you can take and not allow that mental health to keep you from taking any steps at all. And that's what I've done these last couple of weeks. It's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do therapy sessions. It's because I once I canceled the trip to go get my mental health evaluation at the South Bay Clinic that I told y'all about 2 weeks ago, I had every intention of going down there on a Monday at 8:30 in the morning. When I realized how much it would cost to get there and get back, I decided not to go. And I refused to take a bus because I just refused. Well, after that, I got really, really depressed about it, but didn't act depressed about it. I acted denial about it. It was like, okay, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I have no plans. I barely have a couple bucks left. I'm in a bad jam. I know they're going to refile. The Lakers got what they got going on. I could throw my whole life and mind into the Lakers, keep working out, live off the relief of them not showing up to court, coupled with my family in the therapy sessions, coupled with me and a couple of my buddies kind of had good banters over the last couple of weeks. So it's just been a nice, wholesome sigh of relief after a long 4 months of heavy stress. Right? Like heavy stress. Ever since the turn of the year, I've been dealing with it. Even with the fridge breaking, everything was just so very, very, very heavy on my little fragile mind. So as I sit here and I assess what it is that I was dealing with, I couldn't really move. I could not bring myself to reaffile for other places to try to get that evaluation. You know, it was one day after another. One day I wake up, Lakers on, whatever, do my thing, work out, do all my little stuff, my routine, and then go to sleep. That depression sleep, you know, after. But see, it's depression sleep, but it's also recovery sleep because I didn't worked out for 3 and 4 hours, right? So I psych myself into thinking it's healthy sleep. Get up, wake up, do whatever I want to do. Just like I had been doing that led up into the situation, which is why, you know, we're in this space. But it's like, I had 2 bad weeks like that. 2 really bad, not to say that I had a tough time during those weeks. I just felt like I couldn't bring myself to do anything because I was so very relieved. The way my brain looked at it, it was almost like going through a long battle of torture or something. And then the relief thereafter, where all you can do is lay there because you don't feel any pain after long suffering. I don't know if anybody's ever been through anything like that, but like if you've had any type of long bout with serious physical illness and then the relief thereafter, that's exactly how it felt to me for the last 2 weeks. After going through that situation with the court, straining about that mentally, going down there, standing there, doing everything I needed to do, coming home with the walk back because I had those videos, I was feeling so relieved. I couldn't bring myself to face anything even remotely stressful after that. Nothing. And then I was worried about money. So it was like that was in the back of my mind throughout those 2 weeks because I'm looking at my shares and they're lower than they've ever been. I ain't hardly got nothing anymore. It's just a little bit left, but it's still there. So I'm holding on for dear hope. But then I'm like feeling the relief also at the same time. So it's like it's a combination of ridiculousness on top of it. I said all this to say, when I went out there to throw my trash out and I went to the mailbox, the last thing I thought I would see was that paperwork this soon. And when I saw it there, I didn't get that anxiety at all. I got angry. I'm like, why are these doing this? Like, I've gone through this. I just got relieved. I'm still dealing with it. And things aren't getting better. And here they are trying to kick me out of my apartment again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo. But then I needed my uncle to remind me, yo, you ain't paid them their money, and that's what matters. And they don't care, and no one's fair, and no one's going to come help you, and that's it. And so go to a church, get the help that we told you to get, and that's it. Like, and it was like, yo, that's cold. But if I were talking to a child who hadn't done what he needed to do, he needs some tough love. He don't need no coddling. Coddling's what made him this weak in the first place. So it's like, when you're smart enough of a grown man, 38 years of age, you understand that? It's like, yo, all right, this is going to be a tough battle. I'm not going to get the help I need from my family, but I do have the tough love necessary to remind me that I don't need them like that. I need them, but I don't have them that way. And that's a good thing because I need to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. And that's what's not being done here. But the problem is, it's not the manhood and the ego that's not complying. It's this skull of mine that's not compliant. And the temperament that's not stable. And the emotions that are off balance. And so as I continue to assess my mental health and realize there's no proof of that, I realize that the YouTube channel is the proof of that. And that's why I started in the first place. That's why I started doing these therapy sessions, because I do have a very severe condition that has never gotten any help for. And it was my responsibility to get that help. Never felt, never got it. Never felt strong enough to get it. When I did feel strong enough to get it, it was always something in the way. And today is no exception. You know what I mean? And so it is what it is, man. My mother's passed, my father's passed. Nobody's responsible for me. I'm a grown man. And if you don't eat, if you don't work, you don't eat. And I don't want to work. For whatever reasons, however that looks. I don't want to work. Still don't. Deeply. But I also don't want to be dead. Like I was planning on being when I started this process of wondering what would happen if things got to their worst point. And I said, I'm going to die. You know, that was what I'll tell everybody. And now that I'm here, it's like, that's the opposite of what I feel. I'm happy. I'm alive. I'm looking forward to every very, very, very unknown thing that the world has in front of me. As it pertains to my desire to be here. Now, maybe mentally I'm not necessarily in a space of great strength, but just like I was on the street a couple of weeks ago, walking down the street, not having any anxiety, I am very much aware of what brings about that anxiety. And that's the anticipation of anxiety, not of circumstances, not necessarily circumstances themselves. So I'm ready for God to give me something that leans me into success. Just like I talk about the Lakers, I'm ready for the Lord to show me something that comes to me just as easy as everything else that I've been doing has come to me, that'll allow for me to organically shift from within this comfort zone to the next. And let that comfort zone be something that helps manifest opportunities for not only myself, but opportunities for others, so that I can be less useful and more so someone who can help people like me. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be helpless. I want to be helpful. And so that's really what it comes down to. That's why I speak the way I do. That's why I talk about winning the way that I do in regards to my team. It's what gives me purpose. So do I feel some fear in regards to what I'm dealing with? Much fear, but none of it is manifested by anything of God. It's probably chemical or something else. It's not represented in who it is that I want to be. So I appreciate the tough love that my uncle gave me. I also appreciate that I'm probably not going to get what I need in this situation, and I'm gonna have to suffer a little bit. But I don't look at this as a means of me saying that I'm not going to rise out of it, or that I'm ready to walk away from the earth, or that this is something that's going to break me, or that I believe that I don't have any rights in regards to my mental health and how I'm being treated. This is proof that I have a leg to stand. And it just comes down to there's certain things in this apartment that have not been fixed. Every single time there is a water situation of any kind outside, this floods. I don't bother cleaning it because it's going to do the same thing, and it rains all the time. So what I'm telling you is, there are things that I have that are in my favor that I haven't addressed because of my mental health, and because I don't want anybody coming in my house really bothering me because of my mental health. So it's like, I don't know what there is to say other than they know about both of those things. They know about this and they know about that. They ain't did nothing about it because they see me in here and I ain't paid the bill, and I understand. They, if I pay the rent, they'd have the money to do that. That's how you can look at it. But at the same time, it's like, yo, you got to do that. They know they got to do that. They put that floor down knowing they didn't fix that. And that thing's been flooding, and they've known about it for years. And it's been like that for years. So that's all. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. I didn't want to use that against them because at the end of the day, I didn't. You know what I mean? Do what I should have based on my responsibility in the lease. And so that is what it is. But did they? No, they ain't either. It's what it is, man. Everybody has things they need to do better. I got things I need to do better. The state has things it needs to do better. You know what I mean? In regards to people who have mental health concerns. They close a lot of facilities. That's what me and my uncle were talking about. You close facilities, leaving people mental health minds out there just running around. Of course that's a bad thing. You got people who can't help themselves, who are not of sane mind, running around free. Of course you're going to have a city full of people who are robbing people, doing things, drugs, rampant, all kinds of crime. Of course that's going to be the case. You know what I mean? Some people have mental health concerns that make it so that they don't even want to leave the house, as you can see. What happens to a person like me when we're outside? They probably don't last very long, right? Given the fact that we need to confine to one space. So it's just like, look, I'm a case study. That's really all I am. That's why I leave myself so vulnerable. That's why I tell everybody my business, because it ain't no purpose to any of this struggle without giving it to somebody for a reason to help somebody else. It's all, otherwise it's just me suffering for no reason, and I should probably jump off a roof. So you know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I look at it. I was raised by a good mother, you know what I'm saying, who loved me. I love myself. I woke up this morning in great spirits, as I was telling you guys in the Laker video. Woke up praying. And I woke up at 3 a.m. in prayer mode. You know what I mean? Got in the shower, did full-fledged prayer. I felt so good this morning, listening to music, smoking my weed. I felt great. You know what I mean? And so that's really what it is. When I went through what I went through earlier this year, I felt like I was on a test, a spiritual attack. And I felt like I responded well to it. I leaned into my faith and got the results that I was hopeful for. Stayed with what it is I was supposed to in regards to my workout stem, which is what I've already mentioned to you guys in regards to how I view the motivation for working out. It's the mind, it's the stem that has to spark the desire to be physical. I went through a struggle with that when that paperwork first got here, telling me I was going to be, removed from this apartment. Initially, when they first said that, that's when I went through a battle with some demonic energy, messing around with old crap that it was no good for me spiritually, and getting out of that, you know what I mean, was something that was hard. My stem also took a bit of a step back in that regard as well. I wasn't working out as hard, was eating less frequently, laying down more, and fought my way out of that. And found myself now today back in the shape I was in before I fell into that depression back in April or March. So it's like I didn't fought my way through this mentally. I done fought my way around all of these different things and maintained everything about myself that I've learned to appreciate in art, and of course the channel and the various different things that I've been doing with the playlist. Go ahead and follow me on Apple Music, BDF. But like, I'm doing what it is that I'm proud of, but I'm still not working through the part where I need to find a way to make some money. Everything about money to me and chasing money is against my spirit in regards to taking from others. And I've talked about this so much, I don't want to get into it, but that part of my life, I still have there's no solution for that right now. And it's getting to a point where it's like that part of my mental health is really a deterrent to my success in life, to say the absolute least. And the culture of money worship, I guess you could say, and people being so intent on putting money before others just makes it so that I'm even less desiring in regards to doing anything to go get any of it. And that's a horrible thing for my mental health, and I don't think you can survive being that way. So I encourage everybody to not be, and sell what you can and find a way to make a way for yourself. But as for myself, I have to pray about it. I can't, anything that has to do with me going back to work feels like walking into a space mentally that's, bad. I can make more colorful language, but not to do that. Just to tell you guys that it's just a rupture of my synopsis of my life. It makes me depressed thinking about doing it, and being depressed leaves me unstable, mentally, emotionally, that kind of thing. And so it's just like it's a lot of irresponsible, not irresponsible, voluntary vibes inside in regards to having to go back doing security or even working at Subway or anywhere. I just equate that the same way I used to as a child when it was time to go to school. And there's no reason for that, other than just the mind doing what it's used to doing and perceiving things as it always has. And so I'm tired of it. I'm thankful for being alive. I'm very happy to be alive, but I don't want to I don't want to continue on a path where I'm feeling like this and living like this and going like this. So whatever will get me out of this, I think is something that I'm open to, even if it means going through this process in a hard way. I'm thankful that no one else is attached to me, that I don't have any children, that I don't have like a house full of people looking to me to make a way for them. I think at that point I probably would be, trying to figure something out that's not in front of me right now. Maybe thinking a bunch of stuff that I'm not thinking right now. But I think at the same time, when you have a house full of people, you can get a lot of motivation, you get a lot of help, you can get a lot of different ideas. And so there's good and take with that, good and bad, give and take. It's not here either way, but that's just what it is. I'm lost as it pertains to the Lord asked me in my own way. I felt the Lord was asking me to do what it is I've done here. And it hasn't manifested in anything but struggle. And I think through the habits that I have in regards to who I am naturally, it can get a little confusing when you assess why you think God would ask you to do something that maybe you're not wired to do, or if that God that you are listening to is not God at all. You know what I mean? But when you look at other things in regards to the situation, timing of things, and various different blessings that have come your way that just don't make any sense, you just get back to your faith and say, well, this is part of God's plan, and maybe He just wants me to wait a little longer, or hold a little tighter, or let go of my ego a little bit in a way that maybe I don't realize I'm holding on to it, or whatever it may be. I don't know, but I'm just hopeful that the Lord will understand that as I continue to apply my faith and I look around, I don't see a whole lot of good as it pertains to what it is He's asked me to do, which is hold my shares and stay in this apartment. Didn't make any sense knowing that I had this condition to begin with. And so I just have to assume that was a part of my mental health. And it's sad because when you start thinking about your mental health as it pertains to what the Lord is asking you to do, then it starts getting to whether or not you should believe God exists in the first place. You know what I mean? Whether or not you should believe you're even talking to God to begin with. And so it just becomes a very confusing thing for a person who wants to believe, but also knows that he's working with a head that doesn't work properly. You know what I mean? This is what it really comes down to. How much do you trust yourself just in general? So that's what I want people to understand, that, I don't like to use the word envy at all, because it doesn't represent what it is that I feel. But I would much rather not deal with that, and I'm very much happy to see other people not have to have that problem in their lives. I don't envy that. I'm glad you don't have to deal with that. It sucks dealing with that. So I also want people to understand, I don't have ideals that a man should sit in the house all day. My actions don't represent what I think makes sense at all, which is why I identify myself as someone who's not well. It confuses others to see me behave this way. But what I'm telling you is this is just another evolution of mental health concern. That's all it is. It's just like everything else evolves in this world. You know what I mean? Crazy evolves too. That's really the reality of it. They're new versions of what it is we're looking at. We've always known of people who were hermits, or people who couldn't get out of their own way for whatever reason, or people who might have been autistic, or various different things. I'm just another evolution of that, man. The Lord gave me a hyper consciousness while giving me certain disadvantages that didn't allow for me to make sense of anything that I'm doing. And as a result of not having many people around to kind of help me, I was stuck in place, and you're able to see it in real time. If you follow my channel, that's exactly what's going on here. And I'm falling apart and spiraling as you see it. But at the same time, I have a very, very deep relationship with God. Deep. And so it makes for me to have a confidence that allows me to create and come to these channels if I'm fine when I'm going through hell, and putting myself through it. And it just makes for, I think, a very unique space in this world that allows me to say what I need to say in certain times that other people wouldn't be able to, or thinking about certain things that others aren't looking at, or just alive in a moment to say certain things that nobody else is alive to say. And so I don't know where this is headed. I have no idea where this is headed. For all I know, the people I'm talking to may be able to help me out. Maybe you know somebody who can do something. Maybe you have a couple bucks to throw my way. I don't know. But because of how I am, I never find out. You'll never find out. And I just realized I got to change the email on here, yo. You guys got an email address attached to this YouTube. That is not an email address I even have a password for. So if anybody's been trying to reach out to me on Brandful, I don't know what the hell the password is on that. Stop reaching out to me on there if you are. I don't know that anyone has, but I just realized it's there. I'm like, yo, I got to switch that up. But I don't want to use the email that I have, so we'll talk about the changes that need to be made to this channel when other things get in place. But I think for me, I just need to start the process of getting certified as whatever this is, being as it is. And that's been the thing for the last 2 weeks, and I got to find a way to get to somewhere that takes my health care and that will just tell these people, hey, look, he's got a unique thing. And until we know exactly what it is that this thing is, it just is what it is. And so I don't know if I have a right to be disappointed in those who didn't help me get help when I was a kid, but I certainly have a right to be disappointed in myself for not getting help as a man. So I got to get that done, man, and I'm struggling with that. So that's really what it is. That's it, man. I need help. Mental help. Financial help. But I think I got spiritual help on point. I got prayers to give. And like I said, I'm not feeling bad. I'm beginning to feel the stress of what it is that just came in the mail, but not like I was before. I think if anything, I'm just ready for the Lord to do something else. I'm ready spiritually, better than I was then. Because when I first got the paperwork, as I told you, I was dealing with the wrong energy. It's the best way to describe it. And so when the second paperwork came, I had that on my heart, and as a result, it made it so that applying faith properly was more difficult. But right now, nah, I'm engaging in the right energy. I recharge my spirit. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling more confident. You know what I mean? I'm in a much better space than I was when this happened 3 weeks ago or whatever, 2 months ago, whatever it was. So that's what it is, man. That's what it is. I'm going to show up on the 21st of June, and hopefully by the 21st of June, I'll have some things in place that are not in place right now that will allow for a better go round. I don't believe that I deserve to be here based on me not paying those people, but I also don't believe me not paying those people was based on anything other than the Lord telling me not to repeatedly throughout the course of these 2 years. Just like I told you guys. And that's another thing. Anybody who follows these therapy sessions, all of the moments leading up to this are there. They're all there. Stuff that I don't remember I felt or went through, it's all there, man. The therapy sessions, the whole process, even the beginning, what happened before the beginning. It's all there. I've been doing this channel for 4 years. I've only been going through this for about 2. So that's what I want to encourage everybody to do. The best thing about BDF's channel is not just what's going on right now, but what's behind it, bro. What's in the archives is what's really the meat and potatoes of this channel, man. And so that's what I want to encourage everybody to do. Just go back and watch some of the old stuff if you have time to. But yeah, man, that's really what it is, man. I just wanted to come up here and get a real good therapy session. I've been praying a lot about getting back on here and bringing real conversation to it and getting back out here and being more transparent. But I got to engage in the right energy in order to want to. And that's really what it comes down to. When I mess around and not where I need to be mentally, the only videos I want to do is Laker videos. But when I'm in a space where my spirit is right, I can talk about myself. I can talk about this, that, the third, and be righteous in my intentions behind those words. So that's what I've been praying about, Lord. Just give me in the space where I'm doing what it is that brought me here, so that all of this can come to a real space that you can use, man. So all of this can be something that you can use one day, Lord. That's what I say. So that's what it is, man. I suffer today so we can make some sense of this tomorrow. Just like I told my uncle, excuse me. I feel like I'm a fantastic representative of those who don't have a voice in regards to mental health concerns and the help that we're not getting. I think the Lord gave this to the right person, man. When you look at circumstances like myself, I got a condition that keeps me in the house. Makes sure I never want to leave, no matter what the hell I got to do, even if it's, unless you're forcing me out of here, I will not choose to leave. That's the condition. So as I come to understand that, it comes and goes. It's not always like that. In certain times of my life, you'll see me outside every day. I'll be at work every day, but there are also pockets at a time where I will disappear for a year, 2 years, and this is what this is. I stay in the house. I feel safe here. I feel like myself here. I feel comfortable here. I feel like I can do anything I want to here, and I feel like no one can stop me from doing what it is I want to here. And for some reason, that holds precedent over anything else. I want that to change. I want to have a family. I want to travel. There are millions of different things I haven't seen. I'm an artist. I want to be in different places. I want to use different canvases other than paper to draw. It's getting to a point where I've lost, almost over the last 2 weeks, I've lost hope about certain things that I've been holding on to. MOAS benefiting me, lost hope. It's not that I don't believe that MOAS is coming. It's just that I think I'm going to fail to receive it. I think it's going to go up without me, just like crypto did. So at this point, the depression of failing at the AMC as an AMC 8 has been weighing down on my spirit. But I've been still saying my prayers in regards to that for a whole AMC, to worship God in Jesus' name, so I'll never forget. You know what I mean? I don't worship what it is that I'm doing. I worship God. If he wants to rip me out of this world before I complete my goal, this is business. If he wants to keep me here like 100, 600 years like Methuselah, that's his business. You know what I mean? So I'm not here to do my bidding. I'm here to do his. And with that being said, that's the confidence of taking on this paperwork. That's the confidence of dealing with my head. That's the confidence of living in this this space. Well, none of this makes any sense, but I still try to move forward in faith, because at the end of the day, I truly feel in my heart of hearts that I'm righteous in what it is that I'm trying to do. I've grown more intelligent in realizing how inconsiderate I've been to some. And as my uncle helped me understand even furthermore, I'm not owed anything or no help may come. These type of things. Everybody's standing on their own 2 feet, fighting, kicking, and scratching and putting their souls on the line to receive what it is that they need to eat and to feed their families. And if I feel like I'm exempt to that, then I'll go without just like everybody else. And so that's what I had to come back around to understanding. And it's something I agree with. The only problem is, it's not that I didn't agree that kept me here. And I've wrestled with that until very recently when I realized that that's not a fight I need to harbor anymore. It doesn't help me any to continue to fight about the principles of wanting to be more of a responsible adult and failing to based on how I view myself. So I ain't with sitting down leeching off of nobody. I don't think you should be like that. I don't think a man should be leeching off a woman or a woman should be leeching off a man or nothing like that. You got to bring bread to the table to eat. I was raised to raise my daughters to know that, you too have to bring something to the table, but also you should have a man in your life that wants to do something for himself so that he's not leeching off of you. Don't be no sorry man. That's what my mother used to tell me all the time. That's why you don't see a woman in here right now. Because I don't want to be a sorry man. But see, these things were attached to the ability to make the decision to do the things necessary to get the funds and put yourself in a position to do all that. It's temperament. It's not ideals that I'm lacking, or wisdom that I'm lacking, or desire that I'm lacking, or manhood that I'm lacking. It's temperament. It's the emotional imbalance that makes it so that doing those things make me not mentally in a space to handle it. I want to break things when I got to do stuff like that. I want to, it gets to a point where I'm just like, I crash out mentally. Completely crash out. And it's gotten to a point where I've been able to manage it in the jobs that I've kept. Get to a point where I want to get like that and I leave before actually doing so. But it's like, you got to know that it's not, I want everybody to know that me staying away from my family, not talking to people wasn't because I didn't love them or because I had a restrained relationship with them or nothing like that. Brain, that's it. That was always it. It's always going, that's just what it's been. You know what I mean? I never even really got close enough to people that have those type of problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest with you. So, where this goes from here, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Nothing about my life make any sense at all, bro. I got thousands of pieces of art that I could sell for probably a bunch of money. I don't know what the hell to do with it. I don't know how to. I don't know how to want to sell it. Can somebody make me want to sell something? That would help. Can you make me want to save myself? Anybody got the formula for that one? You know what I'm saying? Because everything I look at in regards to trying to get money is sell my soul. I'll go up there and do wrong to get money. Man, if I want to do wrong, I can do wrong a million different ways and relieve myself of this problem. You see what I'm saying? Why I got to do wrong, hurt others to get myself out of this situation? I can do wrong by killing myself and get out of this situation. So, like, if I'm going to do wrong to get myself out of it, not necessarily do wrong to hurt nobody else. And so that's really how I've always looked at life. I don't want to impose myself on nobody else. I can't stand when people do that. I don't want to be in a dictatorship. If I had the ability to give people the freedom to move around, I'd give them the ability to freedom to move around. Within reason, obviously, because we don't want people doing wrong and hurting other people. But at the same time, it's like, look, freedom, I believe in. The confines of me being in this room is a freedom that I've enjoyed, but I didn't afford based on the laws in this country, which means you have to pay people, and I didn't. If I'd have been rich enough to do it, of course I would have done it, because I believe in paying people. I don't think those principles matter. You either show up or you don't, and that you don't means other people are going to move, because numbers need to be accounted for. So that's it. That is all, man. I look forward to the Lord relieving me of the circumstance one way or another in a way that doesn't force me into sin. You know what I mean? That's it. In a way that doesn't force me into a space where I believe I'm committing sin. Just the same. Even if what it is that I'm doing may not necessarily be sinful. If I'm perceiving it as sinful, then obviously it needs to be rearranged in that head of mine. So these are different things I wanted to get out of my head, man. I'm really tired of just kind of staying away from you guys and staying in seclusion and beating myself up over that in regards to these therapy sessions. It's time to get back over here and tell people how bad or good I'm doing. And appreciate all of you guys who sub and follow me as much as you do for both the Lakers and non-Laker conversations. Because at the end of the day, God, you guys are keeping me going, man. That's one of the things I was thinking about this morning in the little 3:30 in the morning shower prayer thing that I was doing. It's thanking the Lord for the responsibility of my voice and the desire to keep that voice intact. You know what I mean? Not wanting to walk away from the things that I've put together in regards to this channel, because otherwise I'm not living for much. I'm really not. I don't have a whole lot going on. This is you guys and the ability to think forward and try to help the team, try to bring forth the example of what it is that I'm struggling with. It is the life that I'm in. You know what I mean? Struggling with these various different things, these racial conversations that speak of racial trauma and frustration. Conversations about wanting to see the middleman out of the way so that we can have the freedom of our choices not be influenced by some entity that we do not know. These type of things are important to me. And I would never have been able to say those things if I didn't have the mental health problems I had, the desire to be isolated in the way that I do. It's a lot of stuff that I can relate to. If I didn't play video games as much as I did, the video games that I did, the basketball games that I did, I wouldn't see the game the way that I do. I wouldn't be able to contribute as much to these conversations from a basketball standpoint if I didn't spend thousands and thousands of hours away from school, focused on the NBA and focused on the sport itself. From a non-schematic standpoint, I should have learned more about basketball X's and O's. I'd be a much better basketball mind. But the point is nothing that I did leading up until this point was left without snatching something from it that I could bring to the table on this channel. That's the way to think about it. All the musical stuff that I did as a child, it led to me being the playlist curator that I am today. So it's like it's none of this, all these little nuggets that I've taken, it's helped me with the things that I'm doing that's keeping me wanting to be here. And because I'm almost 40, you know what I really think? And this is going to sound sad to a lot of people, but it's like the pain is almost over. I've already gone through half of my life. I don't know if I'm going to live to see 80. Hopefully I do, but you know what I'm trying to say. Half the battle's over. A lot of people are struggling through their 20s and their 30s. I already did it, man. I already did it. Some of them old 20s mistakes, stuff that's hard to survive, I already got through that, man. I'm not going to be doing some of those things going forward. So it's just like I'm thankful I've gotten this far. And I also see a path to where I may not have to go through this much longer. Thank God, like literally. And so I want people to understand that if you're one of those people who are suffering through life, you're not really having a good time living, I want you to understand that you do have a purpose that maybe you don't see right now. Maybe things can get better for you. You know what I mean? Maybe you can start living that happy life that you're hoping to see somehow, or the world can start molding itself a bit better for you to feel better. But you just start thinking about things. I was listening to this song. I just wish I remember the name of it. But it's, I think it's called Things Must Change. It Must Change or something like that. Real powerful song, man. But essentially it was a transgender individual singing about how they want to be treated better, and they weren't. I don't know if she was transgender or not, to be honest with you, but I think the idea was that she was coming from that perspective when she was singing. And she was essentially saying it must change the way we treat one another. It must change. It was one of those situations where that stuck with me in regards to how I view the world and what it is that I'm talking about, and the various ways that we're doing things. It just must change, man. We just got to look at each other a bit different. And the thing that stood out to me was like, the lyric was something along the lines of, you hate me, but I think you're beautiful, and it's very sad. And it's like that's kind of how it goes when we look and we're judging other people, and we're looking at them. They're so different than me. Oh, they ain't got their money right. What you may not know is that behind their eyes, they may be wishing well for you. They may be praying for you. They may be someone who would help someone that you love when you're not there to do so. Like, these are the type of things I was thinking about as I'm listening to this song. It's like, yo, it's a eureka. It's like a poof. You know what I mean? Like, while I'm sitting here judging this human being and looking at all of their ugliness from within my eyes, they're looking and seeing the best parts of me that I wish the people that love me saw within me. The very people that I need to see me are the people I don't see at all. And the very people that I want to see me the most are the people I shouldn't even be looking at. And it just came to me like a ton of bricks that that's what it's about, man. We got to learn to love one another, but most importantly, we got to learn how to not hate each other so we don't shun the energy that should not be shunned, and welcome the shiny, beautiful energy that ultimately comes to take us into spaces that are no good for us, sending us into spirals. You know, people fall in love with beautiful narcissists that don't want to do nothing but make them feel bad about being alive, like this type of stuff. And it's like, yo, this is why I need to continue to speak in the way that I do. This is why I think the Lord made me the way that I am, because he allowed me to be the person to say these things and put all this together. And so it's like, look, regardless if you hate your brother or not your brother, but hate the next man, another race or whatever, my whole message to the entire world, if I had to sum up one message, is basically, we're all gonna be family someday. If you look in the past and you look at yourself in the mirror, a good portion of us are gonna realize that we come from a mixture of different people. Maybe you're one of the individuals that come from somewhere where everybody's always been as you are, but if you're like me, you're a mix of everybody. Some of them people did not get along with each other. Some of the people that I make up who I am wanted to kill each other back in the day. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's real. They didn't want to see me alive. They didn't want to see each other get past that day. But somehow, some way, their grandkids, whether it be through love or rape, ended up having relations, and as a result, here I am. And as a result of that, I can tell you that application is going forward. Your ops could be you could share a grandchild. Or most importantly, you killing that dude could keep you from ever sharing a grandchild. You know, and so these are the type of things. It's like, yo, while we sit up here, confused about what we want to do in regards to our energy, we affect these things. And the traumas that we tumble forward with our ambition toward money, our traumas we tumble forward with our ambition toward the things that we want to do that often steps on other people, affect these things that we can't see. And maybe we're just not smart enough to know it. It's not that we didn't care, grandkids. It's that we just we didn't have nobody like me telling us this. But we had people telling us to spin the block. We had people telling us not to care about one another. I'm pretty sure back in the day it was the same thing. The ways of the world was like, yo, we're trying to build our nation, so they got to do the work. We ain't going to get out there in the field, so they got to do it, and they're not going to like it, and we need things done, and the numbers need to be crunched a certain way. So even if they had good intentions or if they can help us or whatever, it don't matter. He got to get out the apartment. You see how that correlates? All I'm saying is this. It's not that I don't see that certain things had to be done or that we had to look at certain things a certain way based on what it is we knew. But now that we know what we know, can we apply some understanding and say, yo, all this hate we're engaging in, we're somebody's great grandkids, parents rather, somebody's. Me and you come together to make somebody else. And maybe they're going to struggle with the characteristics that we together put together in them. So how about we work on those characteristics instead of continuing to be at odds with each other as men? So that's where I'm at with it. That's what I wanted to say. That's my message to the world. We're gonna be kin someday. We're gonna be kin someday. You know, whether we like each other or not, or we hate each other or not, we're going to be family. You know what I mean? And so that's what it comes down to. All your brothers and your sisters, everybody you love, they're not the only people you need to be caring about. They're not the only people you need to be praying about. How about this? This is super deep, different type of thinking. But this moment we're in is a long time ago for the future people. This right here for you, since this is now the past, is a long time ago. And the times that we're living in right now, I may go outside, do something, affect something in a certain kind of way. However, and that, if done the wrong way, may cause a certain type of trauma. In that trauma may birth something in someone that's going to use that something in your time to do something they have no business doing. And what I'm telling you is, I can prevent that trauma today. I can prevent that event today by taking care of what it is I need to take care of right now, by not going out there and doing whatever it is that I'm about to do. Just simply don't do it. And it's not going to cause that trauma that's going to tumble forward to make so much happen that you have no business ever going through. That those people have no business ever going through. We need to think about those things when we engage in the energy that we have no business engaging in. When we think about lashing out at people with emotional trauma that we feel in ourselves that we don't necessarily address and heal. You know what I mean? You end up finding yourself in a situation where you might do damage you don't intend to do, or you might find yourself psyched into believing you deserve something you don't deserve. I had a good friend of mine help me understand this kind of energy. You know, I'm not going to say his name because I think he's grown a great deal from this. So it ain't even about that. But he was in a space where he had long lived without. And as a result, he felt he deserved. People had given him a lot. He took a lot. You know what I mean? So when you didn't have a hand out to give him something, he was offended by that. You know what I mean? And so when I think about that energy, that's what comes to mind when I consider me calling my uncle today and asking him to hear me out in regards to what it is I'm feeling and then receiving what it is he had to give. I'm not entitled because I need. What am I giving? And then when I give, if I'm giving, am I giving with the intention of getting back? Or am I giving with the intentions of making sure someone has because they don't have and I want them to have? Like these type of things are a lot of times things that we just only work into the equation when we are willing to inconvenience ourselves or when it is convenient for ourselves to do certain things. But we often love to benefit from the realities that come with having done those things after the fact. Now you love the fact that that person loves you to death because you came through for them when you needed to come through for them. Now you know that person's going to dust such and such and such and such because you came through when you needed to for them. These type of things are just like, if we just do what we're supposed to do the first time, in regards to how we interact with one another, a lot of these things don't ever have to happen. A lot of these traumas don't ever have to happen. Engage in good business practices. So a lot of these traumas don't ever have to happen. People be, snapping on each other and various things. Don't bully that kid. Teach your kid not to bully anyone. And you ain't gonna never have to deal with that circumstance that transpires because of that energy. These are the messages that the Lord put into my heart to give to you in a lot of the therapy sessions, and I didn't have the temperament to do it because I was too busy ashamed with the anxiety and the mental health concerns that I live with every day of my life, that I've long needed help for, that have never not been here. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to tell everybody. That the devil had psyched me out of wanting to do what it is that I'm put here to do, which is say all of this. You know what I mean? And he ain't gonna psych me out of it again. I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. I'm not confused about myself. I'm not a bad man. I'm not an irresponsible man. I'm not somebody who wants to leech off nobody. I'm somebody who needs a lot of help and ain't getting it. That's all it is to it, man. I promise you it ain't deeper than that. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.